So I always wanted the attention. I'm a middle child. I know the blame shouldn't come to women, but in the end, if you don't do it, who will? We cannot depend on men. We cannot depend on society. Do not believe a word. Not a single frame on Instagram. No one's life looks like that. Hi, I'm Koel Purie and I'm on Fever 104 FM with Stutee.
हाय गाइस, मैं हूं स्तुति। फीवर 104 FM आप देख रहे हैं या फीवर 104 FM आप सुन रहे हैं। वेलकम टू द सुपर वुमनिया शो, हमारा नया सेगमेंट वुमेन एट वर्क। सुपर एक्साइटेड टू बी हियर होस्टिंग समवन जिनको आई शुडंट बी सेइंग यार बचपन से इनको देखा है, बट आइकॉनिक टॉक शो होस्ट, समवन जिनके शो अभी भी हम रीरन्स देखते हैं, जस्ट द वे शी स्पीक्स टू, वेदर इट बी पॉलिटिशियंस, वेदर दे आर सेलिब्रिटीज। वेलकम टू सुपर वुमनिया शो, कोएल।
सुपर वुमनिया क्या नाम है स्तुति?
यू डेफिनेटली आर अ सुपर वुमनिया। ओके, शुरुआत करते हैं विद ऑन द काउच विद कोएल।
On air with Stutee.
I love it. I was so excited. I said, Koel Purie is going to be here. I used to love it when you'd interview people. You were just so forthright, graceful, yet you wouldn't go easy on people. You would ask what you wanted to ask. So I have taken my cue from you.
Oh, wow. I'm happy to inspire. But you know, the truth of it is that I spent a good few years in Bollywood. I was a crossover actor, right? But all I wanted to do was crossover. I just wanted to do the singing, dancing, wear the wigs and do all that. Not realizing that I had power in what I was doing. Youth, right? That I spent many years just being a watered down version of myself, of trying to be a people pleaser, or really a Bollywood pleaser. So dressing a certain way, behaving a certain way. I'd go to these parties that I had access to. I was privileged enough to have access to, but behave like, hey, hi, I'm Koel, like this, right? And just the connection, the chemistry was never there with any of the, let's say, Kjos of the world, right? Then lo and behold, I sit on my couch and I find my voice. I become Koel, the Koel that I know, the Koel I'm with friends and stuff. And the people who are sitting opposite me change. And it's not them who's changing, it's the chemistry between us that changed.
The
dynamic changed. The minute I became me, they became themselves and you know, they accepted me. It was a big learning to understand that the things we do to be accepted, we don't need to. We genuinely don't need to, because people can see and people, they connect when you are you.
Koel, it is very easy to like you.
Oh!
You have a broad
smile. Can you tell this to my family, please?
Your family loves me. Okay.
They love me, but they don't necessarily like me. Okay? There's a big difference.
I want to know about the young Koel. Were you always like this? Were you always, you know, knew what you wanted to do? Were you sure you knew you'd enter a room that eyes are on you and you enjoy that attention? Were you always like that? How was it?
So I knew that I enjoyed the attention and I entered the room and I wanted the attention. If I didn't get it, that was a whole other issue, right? So I always wanted the attention. I'm a middle child. So, you know, all the middle children out there, you know what I'm talking about. No explanation needed. So I wanted the attention, but didn't always get it. And this was the whole coming back to the Bollywood issue, right? In Bollywood, very early on, it was like, but you don't have a film ka face. I'm thinking, I'm to, you know, hoor ki pari. I'm so pretty. But then I go to Bollywood and they're like, nahi, tumhara to face bahut strong hai. What does that mean even today? Like, no one would get away with saying it today. But as a younger person, I was very confident, but I didn't have the self-awareness I have today. But I think that is part of being young, right? Like that youth is wasted on the young. That part is a little bit true. I mean, I had a ball. I had the best time as in my 20s, in my 30s, like just a blast. But I didn't have like I was saying, I didn't have the confidence to see where am I. I was the queen of a tiny little niche, which today has become, you know, one of the big, with OTT, with the crossover. Now there's no distinction between what is mainstream and what isn't. You can get away with anything. I could have back then owned it. I didn't want to own it. I wanted to do something else. नहीं, मुझे वहाँ पहुँचना है. So it was always this frustration, and I wasn't seeing where I was. So if I could go back, I would still have all the fun that I did. If I could go back, I would just say, be a little patient with yourself, Koel. Like, see where you are. Like, don't be in so much restlessness and neediness.
Cherish where you are. And so, you know, and this just, because this was how we birthed the show. You know, it was me and my friends discussing ki, if we talk about feminism, if we just talk about equality today, we also will have to acknowledge our privilege, right? Tell us about this, about the fact that as a girl, you wanted the attention. You were ambitious. Were you ever told ki, you know, as they say, sit like a woman, be quiet, be a little more coy, don't be such a go-getter? Can you recall some instance?
So this is again coming back to that privilege you're talking about. I look back and I say, gosh, I was more privileged in more than like the wealth or the name and things. I am more privileged for the family I had, because there's a dress, okay, and I will try and describe it so that the viewers can understand what it was. It was made out of rubber, okay, back then. It was a diesel dress that I had bought second hand as a student from UK. And it was tight like this, okay, and it finished just under my bum. And one day I was going out for I thought I looked amazing. Maybe a little bit, I don't want to use the word, but a little bit too much. And my dad looked at me and goes, oh, you forgot your skirt. Ha 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 ha. That was it. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And walked out, right? Like, no, like, how can you go out like this? It was also a different time. It was a safer time, strangely enough, in Delhi, which really bothers me right now. It was a safer time, at least in terms of the places we were moving around in and stuff. But not once did anyone make me feel, you can't go out like that. Or you can't be as bold as you want.
Police your choice.
No, police my choice for anything. For anything. Like, I was policing my own choices of not accepting, coming from an intellectual family, that I want to be an actor. For years, I pretended to, no, I'm a producer, so I did Aaj Ki Nari, this, that. You know, I'll do Great Escape, that's not acting. But all I wanted was to be in front of the camera. So for years, it took me my time to say, I really want to be an actor.
So, but do you feel then the flip side is, do you feel the pressure of having to achieve all of it, do everything? Superwomania can also become a cage because women are expected to multitask and, you know, just be everywhere at the same time.
I don't feel the pressure, but I certainly feel the fatigue. And just because I have I'm a mother also, right? So it's just that, and other mothers will understand. And you should, like, you've decided not to, this is a good thing. I didn't mean that. I love you, my baby. So I feel the fatigue of it all. But also, I don't know, I have imposter syndrome, a lot of it, right? So like earlier you said, I don't know whether I should say this, but too late now. But earlier you said, oh, a lot of authors say this. And I was like, I'm an author? Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, so I have a lot of this. So I don't see, not in any, oh, let's, you know, oh, be morose about it and all, be self-indulgently sad or insecure. Not at all. I'm not insecure. I'm a very confident person, all the rest of it. But all these things, I'm like, I don't know, people think I'm an author. People think I do on the cow. Like, it's all, maybe it comes easier than I think it should. Like, I believe that there's more, I'm having so much fun doing what I'm doing. Yes, the fatigue, yes, the amount of time that is required is a stretch, and maybe that's the pressure. But I never feel the pressure of the work, because my work and like your work, we wake up every morning and we're happy to go to work, right? We're happy to do the work. Thank God. Like, I live with a person who has to find the motivation to work. Thank God, like, you know, and more than half the world is like that. So we're lucky that we do what we love, that we get to do what we love. Sometimes we get paid for it also, so which is not a bad thing. But I've never felt the pressure of that. Also because I really don't feel like I'm working, which is probably the imposter syndrome, right? Like, I'm like, I'm here now with my play. Someone has paid me to bring it from Paris to here. I'm still kind of like...
It's running houseful.
It's running houseful. So I'm kind of like, do they know, like, like, I feel a little bit like that. I shouldn't, but I think it's perhaps your own nonsense as a woman,
Yeah.
where we don't own it enough. I'm learning to.
Yeah.
I'm learning to say, yeah, I'm owning it. I'm an author, I'm this, I'm that. But I'm not believing any of it.
What is the one thing that you now, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, feel that your mother did a great job with you and that is what you want to replicate? And the one thing that you would now probably tweak a little or change?
I think my mother did a great job of making us independent in the sense of not necessarily...
of thought.
Of thought.
Yeah.
Of like walking into the room and just saying...
Being yourself.
Being yourself.
Yeah.
And that
having
life
an
is
opinion
fun.
and being able to
She's a very easygoing, fun person. So being fun.
Yeah.
The thing I would like, which unfortunately I have become her. So, I hear myself doing this. I micromanage and giving instructions about everything. Trying to change, like everything. Don't do that to your nail. Your nail will break. Just make your eyebrow proper. Put your hair back. Swallow before you speak.
Yeah.
Like, nonsense. I do it all the time. And then I'm like, what are you doing? And strangely enough, I think it was the time that we lived in. No one, in spite of my dad being so modern, my mother being so modern, all of that, coming from the family, no one ever talked to us about career, about what are your goals, what is your ambition. I feel that is something that I had to find on my own.
Yeah.
I wish
That's so
I'd had that
beautifully put.
conversation
Yeah.
before. And it's not to do with me being a girl or a boy. I have a brother who was not spoken to about that either. So in a way, it was, for them, it was like, we're giving you the freedom to choose your own path. But somewhere you need direction, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. We blame our parents for so many
So
things, right? I don't know. But that's something I'd like to, I'm cognizant about talking to my child about.
Yeah.
Just what do you want out of life?
Everyone's life looks better on Instagram than it actually is.
Do not believe a word or a certain, not a single frame on Instagram. No one's life looks like that. In fact, the scary part is that when I'm posting a lot, and of course you're using, Paris, filter.
Yeah.
Like, let's
is Paris
I love Paris, right? Filter. You don't have to think too much. Filter.
Yeah.
Or if it's really not looking good, put the sparkles, everything whatever. That you get so used to that when you look in the mirror, you're like, I don't even look like the way I think I look like.
Yes.
What are these bags under my eyes? I'm not supposed to look like that. So then you have to, it's the same, like the day, like if you're wearing a lot of kajal for a few days.
And then
when you don't, then it
says,
says, why are you looking so tired? It's the same, right? It's this, so it's the bane of our lives. It's also, if you use it correctly, it's amazing. Because I find we met on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like I've met so many superwomanias on Instagram without having met them, but we have interesting conversations. We support each other, all kinds of things. So I find it a good place, but I also find it a place that depletes you if you're not careful.
Yes.
And who is not riddled with insecurities?
Yeah.
So who isn't? And this is where you have to remember your core. And that is a everyday struggle. That is something that comes. I envy people who have mindfulness as a daily practice, who can connect immediately to who they are. For me, it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. There are moments, there are not. Like right now, I'm feeling very centered, talking to you.
Yeah.
But I'll step out of here and I'm going to rehearsal. I'll be like, where are the props? Where is this? I'll suddenly be all over the place. And then the worst comes out. I scream, I shout, I do. Like the worst comes out. And I don't want to be that person. So yes, there are many insecurities.
And now I want you to tell us a little more, because there's very little that we know about the Archies. The fact that you're in it, Zoya Akhtar, has created it. There's Suhana Khan. There's so much of intrigue and mystery and suspense about all these young kids. I mean, you can't really call them kids now. The Gen Z, the next generation in it. What's your role?
I play Betty Cooper's mother, Alice
nice.
Cooper. So it's Khushi's mother. And the parents, the way that Zoya has visual, I mean, we all grew up with, I don't know you, because you're younger, but I grew up with Archies. Like there was no going to the loo with the phone. There was
Can
going
I just say
to
I
the
was
loo.
not allowed to read Archie.
Oh my God!
No comics. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no comics. I mean, I grew up reading books, but not comics.
Deprived childhood? I'm in shock.
मतलब British Council Library children's section की एक ही किताब पढ़ ली, but not not Archies.
Well done, parents. I don't know how they manage that. That's equivalent to not having screen for the kids today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like not having comment. I only read Archies and Twinkle and Noddy till I finally read my first book, which happened to be Roots, my first book.
Not bad.
Yeah. And then I got hooked. But I didn't read till I was 12. Didn't read. It was only Archies. Anyway, I grew up reading Archies. The way that Zoya has envisaged Archies, so the kids are the activists, the do-gooders, they want to change the world, there's a spark in their eyes. And the parents are a little bit delinquents, are delinquents, you know, they're kind of the naughty ones.
Yeah.
We're still coming out of that post-Raj colonial India. We're Anglo-Indians, so we're in love with the old British ways of doing things. We still have tea, and I'm a baker in it, but I have a big cigarette with a pipe that I'm smoking the whole time as I'm baking, and it's all very accented and fun.
Yeah.
And we're all like, let it just be, let life just carry on, and let's have a little dance in the middle of the afternoon and put the gramophone on and that kind of thing. While the kids are the ones who want to change the world and do things. So playing the delinquents was super fun, like super fun. Like we're having so much fun, the grown-ups, so to speak. And the world that she has created with her amazing production designer and her cinematographer is a period film in the 60s, but so detailed. I mean, our houses, we opened any drawer, a drawer that's not even in the scene, that's not going to be used. You open a drawer and it's got 1960s comb and a kajal of that time. Life magazine with the cover of, you know, of actual magazines. Unreal. Which, you know, you would say, oh, that's a bit like extravagant, but if all of that affects your performance. Zoya is... it's no surprise the minute you work with her of why she is considered one of the best. Not one, she is the best director out of Bollywood. I mean, Gully Boy sealed that fate, right? No one has the nuances she has or brings the nuances she brings to Bollywood, to mainstream masala films, but yet there are layers and layers and subtext and subtext. So that is Archies.
You know, they say the difference between being assertive and arrogant is your gender.
Yes. Yes.
And have you ever wanted to scream out loud and say that?
So I'm a screamer.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Like I say, this is not something I'm proud of. So please, just because I'm saying it, it's not a go-to thing. I do shout, I do scream, I lose it. Most people who are close to me, it's water off their back. Like they literally just ignore it.
Because they know you.
They know me. They know that Koel, she'll calm down, and then she doesn't genuinely mean it. But the people who you just meet, the people who you're working with, don't necessarily always know that, and they don't necessarily deserve that. So I'm against any kind of aggression anyway, even though I'm aggressive. But yes, when you are a woman and you are that, it does come across more as aggression than being authoritative. But I have seen men who have, and especially men of a certain age, my father's age, who have behaved and continue to behave in abnormal ways.
And not many people call them out.
No, and especially in India, that's not a way to talk to anybody. But we have grown up with, you know, screaming and shouting, and that's the other thing, like being on Zoya's film. There wasn't a single raised voice. That is Zoya on the helm. And it was so, I was amazed at her because I have been on films where there's like, you know, because the pressure of like, okay, especially when you have sets which are costing, you know, so much money every time the clock is ticking, it's costing, so you want everyone on there. Tempers are high and people scream and shout. Zoya is always, she's like, what is it going to achieve? But she's worked at arriving there. And so it's something that I don't think yes, I agree with your comment, but I don't think that anyone should aspire to be that. One should be authoritative, one should claim their space, but there's no need ever to be disrespectful.
But generally with opinionated women, that's
opinionated.
That's
opinionated women, yes. But having said that, maybe this is my privilege, maybe it's what I give out, maybe it's the smile, maybe it's I don't know what. But I have never been, I've been called bossy, I've been called all those other things. But I've never not been taken seriously. I've never not been dismissed that easily. No.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky, and I know that this is rare. As a woman, that is rare. So a lot of people think because I've written a book which centers around female friendships, I've done the play which is about motherhood. Going back to my first ever job was RJ Stutee. It was again about women. I do a lot of women-oriented things, but it's not a conscious decision. It's just what I know and love. It's not, so you know, people like you're really feminist and stuff. I am not a feminist, but at the same time, I'm just being me. And the people who I dress up for, the people who I look forward to meeting, the people who I engage most with are women. Now, what to do? I wish I was homosexual because my life would be 10 times easier. I fancy women 10 times more. I'm just not sexually attracted to them. Now, what to do? Had that little piece changed, my life would be 10 times easier because I'm attracted to men. I lust after men. Men hold an important place in my life, but they are not my go-to people for anything.
I am glad you say that because when you give it to a woman, you know it's going to get done.
It's going to get done.
We are also in a society that doesn't let women age around se. Okay, we want them to be like, you know, we say timeless beauty, and we just want them frozen in time. Do you feel that strain? Do you, or you see things are changing now?
When I see all the women, especially in Delhi, especially in Bollywood, who are all, because of the societal pressure, all Botoxed up and plastic surgeryed up and fillered up and stuff, it just makes me want to just be me. I will never touch my face. I say this now, maybe later I will, but I really won't touch my face. Let's change it. It becomes more normal the more we put it out there, right? Right now, no one can say racist things. No one can say, at least openly, in our informed and wonderfully, acceptable society. We can't get away with saying a lot of things. We can't hit a girl on a bottom and get away with that, or squeeze her cheeks or any of those things, because we have talked so much about it. We have made it the norm that this is not okay. We're trying to make body positivity a norm as much as possible. But it's women themselves who have to, yes, I know the blame shouldn't come to women, but in the end, if you don't do it, who will? We cannot depend on men, we cannot depend on society. Stop touching your faces. Please, you're not looking better, you're looking scary. So, stop touching your faces, make it normal to age, make it normal to see a wrinkled woman like we see a wrinkled George Clooney and go, wow. He's hot, you know. But I wish that women, especially powerful women, would just let their faces be. I think, and beautiful women.
And that's going to inspire.
That is going to make it normal. Forget inspire. The more we see it, the more normal it becomes.
It, exactly.
It just
because
becomes
growing old is the most natural, normal.
It's the most inevitable thing. You cannot escape it.
Yeah, true.
And to be fair, like we've all got our teeth fixed and things like that. If the work that these people, men, women, all of them were having done was good, then I would turn around and say, do it. It's not enhancing you. It genuinely isn't. You can maybe pinpoint 2 or 3 people who it looks okay with for a period of time. Most of them look scary. Sorry.
Koel, it has been a pleasure. You say you love women. Women are your go-to people, to get work done. But no wonder you managed to get so much done. Author, playwright, actor, producer, one of my favorite talk show hosts. Thank you.
Thank you, Stutee. Been a pleasure talking to you. I'm so glad you're a woman.
Me too. We will end this interview on that note, but thank you so much.